we're going to be talking about Andre Drummond claimed to I am the best rebounder ever. And this was interesting. This was interesting for a couple of standpoints because when he first said it, I'm just instantly like, no way. He's not the best rebounder ever. I'm like, no. I've seen Dennis Rodman. I've seen Dwight Howard. I've seen Kevin Garnett. I've seen games of Moses Malone. I've seen other guys I feel like dominated on the glass better than DeAndre Drummond. And basically in the interview, he's saying basically, hey, I'm an all-star. I played 40-plus minutes. I'm all NBA. I'm one of the best rebounders ever. And he is correct in that standpoint. And from people have found this loophole, which I'll get into in a minute, he only has 9,965 rebounds. That ranks 47th out of all rebounders. So let's start there. Like, that claim to me just doesn't fit, right? But then they go into his rebounding percentage, which is 24.8 all time. And this stat has been kept since 1970 when people really started looking at rebounds and stuff like that. And really going into the box score, it's basically, I can't even describe it, but it's just basically the total amount of the percentage of rebounds that you get on the court that were missed versus your teammates, and then the opponents, how many total rebounds they have versus the rebounds you have, and what percentage of that did you grab. So he's at 24, nearly 25% all time. So that's a respectable. DeAndre Drummond, of course, in Detroit was a beast on the boards everywhere he goes, even Chicago and stuff like that. And he's able to do that. But then I just look into raw numbers. I get into people I've seen. And I'm just like, no, I just don't think he can be the best rebounder of all time. And I think that a point of that has to do with success, right? And that's no way to just crap on him or whatever the case may be. But to me, if you're going to be a great rebounder, great player, and stuff like that, you have to do it where it matters, and that's the playoffs. And that sucks for him because he's only been there 4 times, twice with the Pistons, once with the Lakers, one with Brooklyn. So in his whole career, it's kind of been shortchanged because he hasn't been able to make the playoffs. Yes, he is one of the best rebounders ever. So when we're looking at rebounding percentage here, Dennis Rodman is second with 23.4. Dennis Rodman also has the highest rebounding percentage recorded in the season at 29%. So that's nearly 1/3 of rebounds in the game Dennis Rodman is grabbing. Reggie Evans is third at 21.87. Reggie Evans was a great rebounder during his time and during his role. But when you talk about great rebounders, it's like, that's fine, but you have to be dominant at that. And he's been one of the most dominant rebounders, Andre Drummond, of all time. He has. But when we look at 20 rebound games, and I looked at this stat, Dennis Rodman has 158 20 rebound games. 20 rebound games. You want to know who's second? Andre Drummond with 88. Like, Dennis Rodman was a freak of nature. And that's 70 more games than Andre Drummond. 20 rebound games. I don't think Andre Drummond's going to reach that mark, but that is an overwhelming statistic to say how dominant somebody on the glass was. And when we go into this other part of it here, rebounding champions. That means winning the most having the most rebounds at the end of the season. And Andre Drummond has only done it 4 times. Now he's done that with Kevin Garnett also winning it 4 times. Bill Russell has won it 4 times. When you put in perspective that Bill Russell is second all-time in rebounds, Wilt has 23,924 rebounds. Bill Russell has 21,620 rebounds. So basically, during his era, Wilt Chamberlain was the best rebounder. Bill Russell was second. So those guys were clamoring all the boards. But when we look at the rebounding champions, Wilt Chamberlain has 11. He has 11 rebounding titles. When we look at Dennis Rodman, he has 7. Moses Malone has 6. Dwight Howard has 5. Majority, I have seen 2 of those guys dominate the glass. I've seen some of Moses Malone during those Philly runs. Of course, going back and watching basketball classics, ESPN classics, when they used to show them more regularly. They don't call him chairman of the boards for no reason. Moses Malone was that dominant. And you got this savant of a rebounder in Dennis Rodman that was just crazy on the boards. I've seen Kevin Garnett. We know about Bill Russell. Like Bill Russell in Game 7 in 1962, I believe, had 30 points and 40 rebounds. Like, that's dominance on the glass. And I'm not saying that Andre Drummond doesn't have that. But to make that claim that you're the best rebounder ever, I just don't see it. I'm sorry. You can have the highest rebounding percentage of your era, whatever the case may be. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into it. You can look at the era from the 60s and 70s that it was a run and gun era. Guys were just putting up shots. They were getting junk off the glass. You can also say in this era where rebounding isn't as much as of an emphasis for teams on the offensive end. They rather limit transition and stop the ball from transitioning. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you look at each era and nitpick and go back and forth. But Andre, I keep saying DeAndre because I'm getting confused with Jordan. But when you look at his rebounding, he is one of the best rebounders, of course, to rebounding percentage. But in terms of totals, in terms of rebounding championships, in terms of effectiveness and transitioning that into the playoffs, I don't think he's there. And that's no knock on him. He's a good player, all NBA from UConn. You got to respect that. But in terms of what he is, in terms of the rebounding, I just think there's other better rebounders out there. And that's just looking at it. And then I heard that he farts to get teammates away and defenders away to grab the rebound. Nah, I can't go with that, man. I can't go with that. Like, nah, I can't go with that. I can't go with that. I can't co-sign that on the rebounding tip. I can't do that. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as we continue here. And we're going to get into the final